In this video, we will talk about what Mthethwa said about Kaizer Chiefs signing Sibongiseni Mthethwa. We are also going to talk about Edmilson, and Keagan Dolly. How are they doing with their injuries? When are they coming back to play for Kaizer Chiefs? We'll find out later on in the video. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. Let's start by going back a few weeks ago. It was reported that Kaizer Chiefs did try to bid for Sibongiseni Mthethwa, and what ended up happening is the fact that Stellenbosch wanted a bit more. I don't know how much more, but they wanted more, and Kaizer Chiefs were obviously not willing to offer more. And because of that, the talks for Sibongiseni Mthethwa kind of ended. But now the fans have come back again and they're talking about Sibongiseni Mthethwa. We want to sign him. We want to sign him. And obviously this thing has been going around long enough to a point that now they asked Mthethwa about him. And this is what he says, which is very sad to say the least. He says that would love to have him whenever he's available. Dead. The moment a person says that, just know that it's not happening. And it's not new with the Kaizer Chiefs, right? Everyone would love to have Sibongiseni Mthethwa. If Pirates did not have Utim and Makaula, they would love to have Mthethwa. If Sundowns did not have Utebogo Mokoena and Opas, they would love to have Sibongiseni Mthethwa. So that's an obvious. But the second part of his sentence when he says, whenever he's available, whenever we have resources. When he says that, it just told me that they might want him, but they are not signing him. At least not this season. Given that Sibongiseni Mthethwa is coming to his final year of his contract, it's clear to me that Kaizer Chiefs might be wanting to sign Sibongiseni Mthethwa, but it won't be this year because, once again, they don't have the resources. The resources being the money, obviously. Now, what's going to be interesting is whether or not Sibongiseni Mthethwa is going to extend his contract with Stellenbosch, because we've seen this movie before. Take me back 12 months ago. Oh yeah, it was Pulemodi. Same thing happened with Pulemodi. Pulemodi was wanted by Kaizer Chiefs. Lamontville Golden Arrows wanted something less than half of 5 million, which is less than 2.5 million. And Chiefs were like, nope, we're not paying 2.5 million for a player who's on his final year of his contract. So they waited for an entire year and then they ended up signing Pulemodi on a free transfer. I feel like this is the same thing that's happening here with Sibongiseni Mthethwa. He's on his last year of his contract. There hasn't been any talks of him extending his contract with Stellenbosch. And instead, what is happening is that he's just being linked with Abo Chiefs. And what might end up happening is for Sibongiseni Mthethwa to join Kaizer Chiefs on a free transfer next season. This, some people might look at it and think, oh, it's smart business by Chiefs because they're not just going to spend money on players who are overpriced. That's what people say. But we're making the same mistake again. What mistake? We want players when they're playing in a certain way, and then we sign them after they are no longer playing in that way. Look at Mthethwa Mthethwa. Mthethwa Mthethwa is a very good and talented player, but his prime was like 2 seasons ago. He was playing very well 2 seasons ago. We didn't sign him then. Last season, he wasn't even playing. He wasn't even a starter for Cape Town City. He did play games, but he wasn't a starter. But then, since we wanted him at some point, we ended up signing him. There are other players that I can go on and on about who Chiefs wanted at some point, but we couldn't buy them at that time. And what did we do? We waited for their contracts to end, and then we signed them. And that is why, as much as people are going to defend the Chiefs for not signing players, that is why some teams don't want to work with the Chiefs, because some people are claiming that Kaizer Chiefs actually negotiate with players to tell them, listen, don't extend your contract, we'll get you on a free. You're going to come and play for Kaizer Chiefs, you're going to get a high salary, forget the small team because they don't want to sell to us. It might just be the same thing with Sibongiseni Mthethwa. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying I could see the same thing happening because it's up to the player to say, no, I don't want to extend my contract. I'll leave on a free next season. And how old is Sibongiseni Mthethwa right now? 28, turning 29. Next season, 30. We're bringing in another player who's going to be 30 at that time. But once again, if he's still good enough, he will still be good enough. But I will still say this. Why not just sign him now? Because clearly he can change the team. Like we look at Njabulo Blom. Njabulo Blom was a revelation for Kaizer Chiefs last season. First played as a right back, then moved to playing as a defensive midfielder. Then the team started performing much better just because we had a holding midfield. Dove is back, Dolly is back, and they might play for the Chiefs this coming weekend. But obviously they're still being monitored because they've been injured for a very long time. Dove coming back is good news, and I think coming on for like the final 30 minutes in this game would not do him bad, because I want him to play against Sundowns. So I want him to play the 30 minutes against Royal AM and then play maybe 60 minutes against SuperSport United in Polokwane, and then on Saturday play the full game against Sundowns, because I feel like it would give us more than Utlanti. That's just me. And with regards to Dolly, it's always good to have players who are good, obviously, in your bench, as much as you also have players who are good in the starting 11. Because another thing with Dolly coming back is that hopefully they do not play him as a winger. Hopefully they do not play him as a winger. But secondly, since Unseki, he's quote unquote protecting the young players, then Dolly coming back can only be good news, because that means it gives Unsegi more options to select from the experienced players rather than the younger players. So that can only be a good thing. And then next we have Donai Jansen. If you don't know who he is, Jansen has been playing for the DDC team of Kaizer Chiefs, and last season he actually scored 12 goals for the development of Kaizer Chiefs. And what's interesting is that this week he's been spotted training with Kaizer Chiefs senior team, which brings the question, are they just making him get used to the environment of the senior team, or could it be one of the players that Unsegi is seeing and trusting to take the team forward? Because we have Usaile, who he didn't play against Sundowns for some reason. We have Modi, we have Upotsana, but one of them might get injured and you might need reinforcements. So Jansen, as a proven goal scorer, you might need that from him as a proven goal scorer. That's very important, because we've noticed that Chiefs tries to score goals, counter, and not really in building up from the back and doing all those things. So having a person who can come from wing and score goals would be very crucial for Mlifinseg. As such, I think that would make sense to him. And also, besides the politics of who is getting chosen and who's not getting picked, Jansen is a good player. His numbers speak for themselves. So I guess all I'm waiting to see is how he's going to be integrated into the team. But what do you guys think about Sibongiseni Mthethwa apparently clearly not coming to Chiefs? Dolly and Dove coming back? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelu Moya.